Hey there, everybody. So today I want to go over how to perform translations. And we have two activities that we are doing in class today. So I'm going to move through them. Now I'm going to move through them kind of quick because we did get both activities done in the normal classroom time. They went kind of fast. So if I start moving too fast for you, feel free to pause so that you can catch up on your own computer. But here is the first link. The first link was for a translation of points. So what we're doing with translations is a translation is a slide. So this red image right here is called a pre-image. It's where it started, what it did meaning before it moved. The second figure is the image or the copy. Now, a translation does not change the size of the shape, doesn't change angle measures, doesn't change side lengths, doesn't even change the orientation, the way it's sitting. All it does is slides it across the board. I equate this to thinking about it as like wiping off a table with a rag. You're just moving your hand left, right, up, down. That's all a translation is. Now, here is an example where you actually see it in motion. So a translation that takes the red one and it moves it over and down. Translations like your navigation, it's your GPS system. It's just telling you which ways to turn and how far to go. So looking at slide 3 of this activity, if we could move the black shape up, down, left, and right, which ones would it sit on? If you look, you'll probably notice that A, B, and C look very, very close to the same exact way that the original black one looks. But if you look over at D, it looks like it got tipped over. It's sitting sideways. On slide 4, we can test our thinking. If I click on this thing right here, the little circle, I can move that around. I can shift it over and it can sit exactly on top of the blue one. So we were correct with A. I can bring it down and sit it on top of B or the purple one. Yep, that one works. I can move it up and sit it on top of C. Yep. And then when I try to set it on top of D, I cannot make that work. So we were correct in thinking A, B, and C. On this, now we're going to actually see what we can figure out with translating this. Piece of advice: when we translate images, all of the points or vertices of the image need to fit exactly on their corresponding points on this one. So what I tell students is take a spot. I'm going to pick this point right here. And I'm going to take that point and I need to figure out how to get it to its corresponding point on this shape, which is this one right here. So what did this dot have to do to get down to this dot? Well, you'll probably notice it went over and then it went down. Question is how far in each direction? So we can say the shape moved, and then we would go 1, 2, 3 units. And we're going to say to the right. We're not just going to say over because over implies left or right. We'll move 3 units to the right, then 1, 2 units down. So that's how we would describe a translation. The next 4 slides are pretty easy. You're just picking this red dot. Would you say that red dot is increasing or moving in a positive manner or decreasing? Well, it's on the x-axis, and when it moves to the right on the x-axis, it's increasing in a positive manner. Slide 7. What's the red dot doing now? Well, if this way is positive, obviously that way needs to be negative. Correct. Now let's take a look at the y-axis. What is it doing here? Yep, increasing in a positive way because it's going up. Those numbers are getting bigger. And then on slide 9, it is going down. Very good. So it is decreasing. So here's how the rules look for translations. This point, the red dot, is following this rule. X plus 2, y minus 4. What you'll notice is it's moving 2 blocks to the right, which is why it's a 2, and it's also why it's a plus because it's going to the right. Then it's turning and it's going down, which is why there's a minus 4 blocks. So that's how that rule works. This is, again, like I said, this is like our directions or our GPS system in our cars or on our phones. It tells us how far and which directions to go. So on slide 11, look at what that dot is doing. Well, if the dot is starting here, it's moving 1, 2, 3 blocks to the left, and 2 blocks up. Well, all of these have a 3 and a 2, the 3 being first. So we know it's not that one because that one has it going 2 first. Question is it moving 3 in a positive or 3 in a negative? Hopefully you're recognizing that it is moving 3 blocks in a negative direction and then up 2 blocks. Same thing with this one. What's this one doing now? Well, it's moving 1, 2 to the right. So it's getting bigger by 2 on the X and then moving 1, 2, 3 up. So it should be this last one right here. So here's what you're going to do now. We're going to take point A, that blue point right there, and we're going to translate it to a new spot on the grid following this rule. So the rule over there says x plus 1, y minus 3. So that rule is actually telling us x plus 1 to move 1 block right. Then it's telling us y minus 3, 1 block right, then 3 blocks down because it's a minus 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pencil, I'm going to change my color so I can see that it's a copy, and I'm going to start at that dot for A. I'm going to go 1 block to the right, and then 1, 2, 3 blocks down. So this is where my point is ending up. What is the coordinate? And this is where people are getting confused. In this box right here, you're actually going to write the ordered pair that represents this point. So you'll look, this point right here is at the -1, -2, -3, and then it's down 1, so it's -1. So this is the coordinate that I'm going to put in here, -3, -1. Because this is where it started and it ended at -3, -1. Now I'm going to take this point and I'm going to translate it using this rule. So the rule that I have says x minus 1. So x minus 1 means move to the left this time, 1 block. Then, y plus 3, I'm going to go up 3 blocks. So I'm going to get my pencil tool. I'm going to get a different color, the red this time. I'm going to start on that point, and I'm going to go to the left 1 block, and then up 1, 2, 3. And what point is that? Well, right now, that's over 1 and up 2, so it's at the order pair 1, 2. Here's where it gets a little confusing for some students. Now we're actually going to write the rule. So now what you're typing in this box is going to be a rule that looks similar to this. Parentheses, an X and a Y, and then what's happening. If you're unsure where to start, the original is always what looks like a normal letter. The copy or the image is the one that's got that little symbol after it. So I need to start with parentheses. And what some students find easy is they take the drawing tools and they actually sketch out that path. So it went over and then up. So now how many blocks over did it go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, did it travel in a positive or a negative direction? Well, when I move to the left, I'm actually going negative. So this is -6. And then I turned and I went up 1. Oops, I made my pencil. Up 1, 2. So going up means a positive. So +2. So now all I have to do is fill in these parentheses. Start with your X. And what did we say about the X? Well, we said it went -6, comma. Next is what's happening to our Y, and our Y went +2. So that's all we're doing. We're given the directions for how it traveled. Last one on this activity. Excuse me. Again, we're going to find the copy. The red one is the copy. So I'm starting at the blue. To get to the red, I had to go over and then down. So how did I go over? I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And because I moved to the right, it's a +6. And then I turned and I went down 1, 2. And because I went down, it's a -2. So now I'm just coming over here, parentheses, x +6, y -2, and submit. So that was all we had to do for our translation introduction activity. Hopefully that was pretty easy. The next thing, number 3 on our agenda for today, was called translating shapes. Now we're going to practice using that rule. So again, slide 1 is just showing us the translation. Slide 2 is asking us to remember, what does the x-coordinate tell us to do? Well, the x-axis moves left to right, so the x-coordinate is going to do the same thing. What does the y-coordinate tell us to do? Well, the y-axis goes up and down, so the y-coordinate tells us to do the same thing. Now, what translation is happening here? How many over and how many down? It's moving to the right, so we know it's going to be x plus. And if we look real carefully, it's going 1, 2, 3 over. And then it goes down 1, 2. So then y -2. That's what we would type, because it's moving to the right 3 and then down 2. Now slides 5 and, well, you'll do another one like this, but now we're actually going to drag this triangle 4 units to the left and 6 units down. Now here's the tricky part, is that you have to drag each individual point. So if I start with the red, I'm going to follow the rule. 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 down. And then I'm going to come back up and do the same thing with the purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I did something wrong there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So notice my shape did not change size. Each thing just moved 4 to the left and 6 down. Slide 6. All you're going to do is pick one of these. You only have to do one. If I pick the first one, you'll notice it added a new shape. Here's the original, here's the image. All you have to do is explain to me what it did. So you would explain it just like we did back here. No, not that one. Which one was it? Oh, back in this activity. Remember when I was typing on the graph? Where did I go? How I did this, you're going to do a very similar thing here. So you would say it moved 6 units to the right and 4 units up, matching that. So that's all you would type in there. Slide 7, yep, you're just going to drag it following this rule just like we did on slide 5. Slide 8, this is where it can get a little bit tricky for some students. Now you're going to fill in the table. These are the x and y values for this shape. This is the rule we're going to follow. What that rule says is that each x value you see, which is all these, we're going to add 5 to it. Each y value you see, we're going to add 3. So now I've got my x value of 1. Well, 1 plus 5 is 6. I have a y value of 1. Well, 1 plus 3 is 4. You're going to do that for all of those. Then you'll click submit and it'll translate your shape for you. And on the last one, this black shape can go to 2 of the figures. It can go to the red and it can go to the orange. Hopefully you're recognizing that we can't translate it to the purple. We can reflect it but not translate it. So in this box, you're going to try to guess both of the rules. So what did this have to do here? When you type in the rule, if you have it correct and hit submit, you'll notice the shape will move. See if you can get both of them. Hopefully this helps you with what we did today. Otherwise, we'll be in class tomorrow. Feel free to ask more questions. Have a great day.